All right, so here we are. This is Tarot Lumination, and this is you, dear Capricorn, over here with your love and relationship report for February 2018. Now, for this month, for some reason, Tarot Illumination seems to be weaving little notes about the astrology in the background. And so for you, I feel it's important because we've just started this huge new 3-year journey with Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn in Capricorn, excuse me. So that's hitting you right on the nose, Capricorn, right on your identity, yourself, your how you are perceived in the world as a person. Who are you really in this world? And it would be like a complete restructuring, like from the ground up. Like, who am I? What do I really want? What am I, who am I? How do I appear to others? How do others relate to me? So if you're going through a 3-year journey of deep, let's say, remodeling, restructuring of yourself, over that period, we're going to have incremental changes in how you would be felt in the context of relationship by a significant other or by significant others in business, but particularly in love. Okay, so that's also affected by just recently, just for February now. We just talked about Saturn there for the big picture, but in February we have this huge new moon eclipse on that south node Aquarius, all about your second house of value, values, self-worth. What am I really worth? What are my values? What do I value? What are my true talents and gifts? Okay, getting really, really shaken up there. It's almost like Capricorn is getting really shaken up, trying to figure out who am I really, and what am I going to be? How am I going to do that? Not just you, but and that's going to affect your relationships very, very significantly. Okay, so yeah, sorry about all the chatter at the beginning. I really wanted to get those notes out there for you. And so it's just on record, okay? All right, Capricorn, hope you don't mind. Cards were all well shuffled in advance. No reversals, I'm sorry. We're just keeping it very, very simple here. And we're going to use my crucible spread. Understanding that there's you, Capricorn, and a significant other in a chosen relationship, as consciously as possible, hopefully. And then there's the relationship itself, which is a third entity which has its own identity, which needs to be honored and respected and understood. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go here. All right, here we go. We are guided and we are protected, okay? Whether we know it or not. It helps if we are aware and we can invite that in. Okay? This would be your love energy. Okay? Capricorn, that's what you would be radiating outwards. Okay? And through the laws of attraction, this is something that might be out there for you. Okay? In terms of that significant other. Over here, this is deep inside of you. What's going on at the soul level? What's going on at the deep soul level of the significant other? And what about the relationship itself? Okay, can you see the crucible here? Can you see that? It's a bowl. Crucible is a very, very, very tough bowl which can withstand intense pressures, the things that happen inside the context of a relationship as we intimate and we separate. So these are the prospects, okay? If we think of it as a continuous pulsing thing where we intimate and we separate, we intimate and we separate. And over here is circumstantial energy. What's out there? What's going on out there, Capricorn? And what are you going to do with all of that? Think of it as weather. Make the best of it. So you have the Seven of Cups. What I feel right now is that it's like, to me, it feels like a sense of like wonder and also wondering. Like wondering, like what is actually going on inside of you, Capricorn? Like, who am I? Again, I think this relates very closely to the eclipses and that have just happened. Values, and because that just happened in your second and eighth house, okay, the polarity there, where it's very, very important about what's happening with you in significant shared resources in the context of a significant relationship, including the intimacy that happens in significant relationships. We do intimate. We do separate. And on a deep, loving relationship, we can merge to the point where we become one entity, okay? Where you are very deeply loving, you are very deeply loved. And we only discover that in the context of a contractual relationship where it's deliberately chosen and structured that that can happen at a very serious, profound soul level. Let's have a look. Okay, so it might be you're wondering what's actually going on here. Am I losing track? Am I losing out on my dreams for myself? Remember, this is your relationship, Capricorn. This is not a couples reading. This is all about you and a significant other, and it's the relationship from your perspective. So it could be an indication that now is a really good time to understand your own dreams and desires and wishes for you, as opposed to what's for the relationship or for anyone and everyone else who is whose, let's say, welfare is contingent upon your relationship. Like if you have kids or properties and homes and things like that, and how your relationship impacts the world around you. So let's have a look. Let's go deeper here. Let's have a look at you. Okay. So it might feel as though there are, like, let's say, cataclysmic changes happening, but I feel this is very closely related to the shakeup of the new moon eclipse in your second house, Aquarius, where things are really getting shaken up in terms of what do you really value? What are your real strengths? What do you really, really want? What are my dreams? I'm like, if you've been sacrificing your dreams for a long time and realizing that you want some of that, you deserve that. And so in some ways, it might feel like the very structures and foundations of yourself are falling apart while the energy of your dreams is starting to percolate down into your life, into your world, to give you a glimpse of like what's beyond your existing three-dimensional reality. And there's no harm in that, okay? It could be that it's a struggle to deal with this because it's such a huge shakeup. And at the same time, you've got Saturn. It just started, Capricorn. So this could feel more like rolling thunder. It's almost like, going through these historical patches in life where you get one like rumbling earthquake after another. It's not total obliteration or destruction, but you can really, really feel the ground shaking underneath you. Like the gradual stripping down of one, let's say, an existing relationship structure as it systematically gets broken down and rebuilt into a new relationship structure. But it's from you. This is not the other. This is not the relationship. This is you. This is you going through the restructuring process slowly and surely over the next few years. And this is just for February, but I feel this is like the door is opening here right now, and it's opening with a very loud, like with a very bright, it's like walking into a very bright room, like, whoa, what's happening here? You're going to take some time to acclimatize, to get used to it. Let's have a look at the significant other, because the huge shifts and changes that are inevitably going to be happening with you, Capricorn, that have already started, they're just beginning. They are going to have shock waves that affect others, okay? So without any ill intent or bad wishes, it could put a significant other into a position where they are, let's say, detaching themselves, not just from you or the relationship, but from themselves. It's deliberately chosen detachment to the point where in some ways they might be kind of disoriented by what is happening with you. Not in a good way or a bad way, just from, let's say, a higher spiritual perspective. Because let's say you have a long-term vested love relationship, but you're going through such huge personal shifts, personal changes, and that it's bound to have shockwaves that affect the significant other, then that has a reciprocal, bounce back over to you, Capricorn, which makes you, it's almost like it starts to trigger the next step in your own shifts and restructuring. So it could indicate that we're dealing with a significant other here who is holding their stature, holding their position, but doing it from a very, let's say, detached perspective, because they're not interested in anything that would destroy a relationship or, let's say, indulge in the falling apart of a relationship. It's much more about being very, very, let's say, observant and allowing things to unfold in their own natural way. That's from their perspective. Okay. So, because, you know, however you want to interpret this yourself with the Seven of Cups, I like to think of it as the chance, the potential to tap into your dreams and see what your options are by, you know, like the Google guys or Einstein, or painters and artists and musicians, they deliberately choose to tap into the energy of heaven in order to have the healing power of love, the energy of heaven, flow into their lives. So they don't have to be endlessly working trying to figure stuff out. They literally allow themselves to be vessels where the dreams can move through them for manifestation. It's just that the process here with you right now, Capricorn, might be, let's say, um, like disruptive. Okay, so it puts the other significant other on edge, like like they don't want to fall down into your earthquake. They don't want to fall down into the cracks and the holes while you're going through your deep transformations. Okay, while you're in some ways you're falling apart. They might be witnessing your own falling apart. They're not going to go down with you just because you're going down, because they probably understand that this is a restructuring, not a going down. And so they have to protect and defend themselves, maintain their integrity from a very deliberately chosen, detached perspective in order to honor the love and the context of the relationship. Okay, so please think of this as very, very neutral. Okay, in other words, think of the relationship as ongoing, and it's all about you. Okay, Capricorn, going deep. Okay, well, you're being very courageous. It feels like to me, it feels like you're doing an incredibly good job of, let's say, maintaining your integrity through these deep changes that are happening. It's unavoidable with Saturn and Capricorn right now. It's going to be a very, very significant life changing transit for you, Capricorn, for all Capricorns, frankly. And that will affect your significant relationships in one form or another. But focus on you. Take care of yourself. Mind your own business. Be perfectly aware of the loved ones and the significant others. But primarily, of course, honor and respect and love yourself first. It's very, very, very important, okay? And I think you're doing a really good job of that, because you might have a lot of, let's say, what I would call stakeholders in your life who want what they want for themselves, which is perfectly normal. You know, if you've got cats, pets, dogs, college career programs, spouses, nieces, aunts, and uncles and nephews who all look to you in some way or another for whatever it is that they relate to you for. Maybe they're children and they need you to be a parent. Maybe they're relatives and they need you to be the good, strong Capricorn that you are. And they're just being themselves, and you're being yourself too. And it might all be challenging and almost overwhelming in some ways, but you're doing a great job. There's no question about it. It's just that for a lot of people, they wouldn't deliberately seek this type of energy to happen to them. So with you, Capricorn, if you can see it as like, well, this is just another chapter of life, and this is epic. This is an epic chapter. It's going to be a 3-year journey, and we're just taking a little snapshot of February, okay? So let's have a look at significant other over here. So in order to maintain their sense of who they are and what they're doing in this relationship, they might be feeling as though they are fighting an unwinnable battle. I'm not trying to pop any bubbles here or undermine a relationship in any way, shape, or form, because I see this as continuous, ongoing energy. This is your reading, Capricorn, for you. You can reinterpret how you like. Thousands of people are going to see this, and this is not a private reading. So my feeling over here for you, Capricorn, is that you're dealing with a significant other who is almost like deliberately standing back, stepping out of the way so that they don't suffer from whatever shock waves that you are going to endure in your own journey, okay? Which happens in the context of a loving relationship. It's almost like from their posture with the Five of Swords here, it's a lose-lose situation. If they try to intervene or try to move things or manipulate things or, let's say, win in a challenging situation or win over you or to win you or to, let's say, dominate or win to keep the relationship going, it's futile. It's a waste of time, and they probably know it. They probably feel like, well, it's a complete waste of time trying to keep this relationship going as we know it is, as it has been. And so what are we going to do now? And then they realize, well, there's nothing we can do. If I try to make something happen, it's just going to, backfire because it's like they are changing inevitably, irrevocably. Okay. And that's you, Capricorn. That's you living your life. And they have a right to live their lives. And if it feels destabilizing for them, okay, if your huge shifts and changes that are happening here feel destabilizing for them, it would be perfectly healthy and normal for them to want to keep a little bit of distance here and take a long-term, broader perspective and allow things to unfold, because it looks to me they don't have any interest in getting involved in futile conflicts or challenges or turning it into a battlefield where nobody wins, okay? And I think they have the wisdom to understand that. In other words, there's no point in taking any of this personally. On the broader perspective, I think, Capricorn, you're with someone who totally accepts and understands what's going on, and they have no interest or intentions of getting involved in unsolvable problems or conflicts. So they're just, giving you space, giving themselves space in the traditional old-fashioned process of we intimate and we separate. We intimate and we separate. And the separating here, I feel, is totally deliberate and purposeful and appropriate. Okay? No harm done. Let's have a look at self. Okay. You see? It's almost like to be able to handle this kind of energy, Capricorn, it takes mature people who can take the intense pressures that happen in the crucible of a relationship, especially for the long term. If it's a contracted relationship, like a marriage or something, or you're engaged, or you've been living together for a long time, or whatever it is, and it is chosen and it's deliberate, and you, Capricorn, are going through huge cataclysmic changes, irreversible, and you're doing a great job, and they don't want to get in your way. They don't want to stop you living your dreams or having your wishes come true, but they have a right to be themselves too. They just don't want to fall down the black hole themselves, and it doesn't have to happen. So my feeling here is that in some ways, Capricorn, you're extremely lucky right now to have someone who can accommodate and understand that energy, because if they didn't have that, then all of this, the love and the happiness and the structure that comes with a loving relationship, the ability to have the happy family becomes jeopardized. So it's almost like it's high stakes. This is a very high stakes reading, my feeling for you, Capricorn. And it's in very stark awareness that this is what's at stake here for you, for the relationship, for the other, and everyone and anyone else who lives under the umbrella of this beautiful, loving relationship that has history, let's say mileage, structure, value, and values. And so it's coming into stark awareness about really, really good stuff that lives in the relationship and the things that are inevitably going to change. But the ultimate goal is all about happiness, having a happy, loving home in a way that actually works for both parties, even though this is your reading about you. Prospects, let's have a look. Momentum. Good. So it's like getting what you deserve. Now, whatever happens in the details of this, if the pressure under this kind of pressure cooker situation, it's not one big like volcanic, Vesuvius or Mount St. Helens or whatever, my feeling is this more like rolling thunder, like lava flow, so things don't end up in one cataclysmic event. We're talking about lots and lots of little uh, miniature cataclysmic events over an extended period of time, which brings the energy of the core happiness and the love of the relationship into stark awareness, where you can understand the goodness in the relationship, but also understand the challenges, and that you can allow yourself to expand and grow and have more of a chance to taste your dreams, bring your dreams into who you are and what you want. So it isn't just all about fulfilling a role for them or them having to fulfill a role for you in order to keep the relationship happy and ongoing. It's okay for you to have a time out where you can start to manifest your own dreams for you, just for you. No apologies, uh, no explanations, but it's almost like a time for this. It's almost like your time, Capricorn. Reevaluations, restructuring, remodeling, reappraising, and seeing your identity and coming out in a different way than ever before. And it can still happen in the context of a loving relationship. But it does lead to new horizons and consequences coming in that I feel it's what you deserve, okay? And whatever it is. Like sometimes people feel like they can love each other very intensely and totally committed, but they need to separate. Hmm. And then they can still have a very loving relationship, but from a formalized separation, so to speak. And that could be like a consequence of this. It could be a destiny kind of thing here. And it's, let's say, inevitable. But the other way you can look at it is that by both parties allowing each other the room to love and be loved, to love and be loved. And at this moment, this is how they are expressing their love by deliberately stepping back to allow you to taste your dreams just for you. And there's no point in them trying to fight it. It's almost like it's your turn now, Capricorn, for you to be happy and indulge yourself, because maybe you, Capricorn, have been very nice to me over the years, and vice versa. You might be saying, well, thank you very much. I think it is time for me to taste some of my dreams and recalibrate and restructure. And I thank you for accommodating me over the years. Thank you so, so much. Okay, so I see it as a good thing here. I think you're getting what you deserve, and it's a good thing. It could be better than ever before. It's just in a way that you could not have really predicted or understood before coming into this reading or this time of your life. It's something that's been percolating in my field for a long time, um, and now big epic changes are going to happen where it's much more about being happy than being right or being rich or being correct or proper or building the relationship or maintaining the relationship. It's almost like it's like a mature relationship where it's now time just to be happy. Okay, however that plays out, and that would be the consequence of having invested wisely, like a life well lived, as they say. All right, I'm not going to say anything more, Capricorn. You can, reinterpret this however you want, however you like, and do your cross-watching, significant others, and all of that, and make the best of it. Okay, so we'll just there's the crucible, there's you, there's the other, there's the relationship, there's the prospects. These are the weather conditions. Okay, deep inside of you, deep inside of another. Okay, there you go. Hold on. Okay, so thank you so much for choosing Tarot Illumination. Bye bye, Capricorn. All the best.